domestic violence hotline. The number there, 800-799-7233, or local police. Waterbury stepmother Kimberly Sullivan remains free on bond, now wearing a GPS monitor on a judge's order. Her defense attorney entered a not guilty plea on her behalf today on charges including kidnapping, assault, and cruelty to a person. She's accused of holding her husband's son captive at home for more than 20 years. The victim was discovered in poor condition last month after setting the family home on fire. WTIC's Dave Mager was in the courtroom.
Prosecutor Don Thurkeldson met with the victim and says he lives in fear.
His first question in this fear is, why is she out walking around when I was locked up in a room for 20 years?
Sullivan remains free, but now wearing a GPS monitor. The prosecutor successfully argued she has a significant incentive to flee, given that she could spend the rest of her life in prison if convicted. Judge Joseph Schwartz agreed, saying the accusations suggest extreme indifference to human life. Defense attorney John Kaloidis.
There is still a presumption of innocence, and that presumption of innocence has been eroded out here, and I'm trying to protect it in there.
In Waterbury, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
The State Department of Children and Families now says it has discovered records related to its work with the victim after previously saying it has no records of this case. No details have been released. The DCF is believed to have had contact with the family before the victim was pulled from school at the age of 11. Vice President Vance in Greenland.
Grabbing a meal at an American military base.
I know it's a lot of sacrifice to spend a year away from your families, but the mission is really important. The Trump administration, the president is really interested in Arctic security.
The high-profile visit scaled back when officials in Greenland resisted. President Trump has vowed the U.S. will gain control of the Danish territory.
Correspondent Steve Kathan. And the president says the wheels are in motion to get assistance to Myanmar and Thailand, ravaged earlier today by an earthquake.
No, we're going to be helping. We've already alerted the people. Yeah, it's terrible what's happening.
Tim Allen was teaching at an international school in Bangkok when the quake hit.
I actually thought that it was just vertigo for a second. And then some other teachers started walking out of the buildings and they were saying, can you feel that? And then that's when I realized, oh, it's not just vertigo. We're all feeling this and it's an earthquake. And so as soon as it calmed down, I pulled out my phone and I started to call my wife.
At least 150 people have been killed. The quake measured a magnitude 7.7. President Trump and new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney talked for the first time today amid the trade war between the two allies. More from correspondent Aaron Navarro.
The Prime Minister talked about further economic relationship between Canada and the U.S., but did say that he told President Trump that Canada would have its own retaliatory tariffs in response to the tariffs the U.S. is imposing when it comes to auto parts and reciprocal tariffs.
WTIC News Time is 3:05 from the WTIC 24-hour traffic network. Look out in West Hartford. Got a report of a three-vehicle crash 84 eastbound between exits 43 and 44. That has the left lane taken out. That's the only major issue we see at this point as the Friday ride home gets underway in earnest. We've got the delays westbound on 84 in East Hartford between 56 out towards 46. That's a good couple of miles worth. And we also have some road work left over in the Hartford area on 91 northbound between 29A and 32. That'll be wrapping up in about an hour or so. Short line looks okay for the most part. We're not seeing any major issues along the 95 corridor. The usual buildup, though, from Stamford as you head right up through Norwalk. Meteorologist Jason Caterina has the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of our Friday, it'll be turning cloudy and milder with a high of 58. Remaining cloudy and mild tonight, a couple of showers, then a steadier rain develops, the low down to 47. Saturday, breezy, milder with occasional rain and drizzle, but mainly early in the day. Otherwise, the high up to 63. Overcast with a couple of showers Saturday night, feeling a bit chilly with the low down to 41. And cloudy and cooler Sunday to round out the weekend. That high 48 will feel chilly at times. Rain at times Sunday night. Monday, mostly cloudy, a milder day. Breezy in the afternoon with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high up to 67 Monday. Sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and cooler again on Tuesday with high pressure building into the region. The high down to 53. Clouds and sun for Wednesday. Cooler still, and again, feeling a bit chilly at times, especially in the shade, with the high of 48 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, partly cloudy now. 59 is the temperature in Hartford. It's been another rocky road on Wall Street today. The Dow down over 600 points, the NASDAQ off 450, and the S&P is down 104 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:07. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768A, D1040145, E1185643, S33088699, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
At United Way of Central and Northeastern Connecticut, we're not just talking about change, we're leading it. Together, we join forces with community partners and members to tackle poverty head on. Join us, stand with us, and unite to end poverty. Visit UnitedWayInc.org to learn how you can help. Together, we can unite to end poverty.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. We're going to talk about some key elements to retirement planning this week, mainly income, tax.
One Friday minute.
Life and retirement. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30.
What's going on, brother?
Right here on.
What's good, yo? What you was doing? You was hurting my ears in here.
I know. I screwed up on an audio bit real quick.
One day.
Oh, okay.
Can you depend on your car to start? Don Cusson here. Your battery can fail in extreme weather. So Cusson Automotive and Napa have a deal on batteries with an earn-back bonus on quality Legend batteries. With any vehicle service, we will test your charging system and battery for free. If your battery fails the test, we will replace it with no additional labor cost. Plus, you'll receive a $20 Visa card, so don't get stuck in the cold. Call.
And 10, my day was shitty, and then all of a sudden it just turned around 30 seconds ago.
No doubt.
Got a check in the mail from bowling, baby.
Hey, shh, calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Radio. Reese's on the radio. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Does not exist. It's Reese on the radio right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, hello, all you scallywags out there. What's going on? It is none other than your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio, kicking it live right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Now, I want to start by saying, not that it's necessary, but I want to start by saying that I am going to relitigate something in Connecticut politics while talking about current events, because something struck me as odd. I don't know why, but it did. And I, as a person who does this, I kind of fashion myself as a reporter, as a gumshoe journalist. I'm not like a lot of these journalists out there. Many of them are very skilled at the art of spin and editorializing when they should just be reporting. I'm a huge critique of them. So I try in my own journalism, as it were, to try to go straight down when it comes to certain things based upon those facts. So if I editorialize, I use the facts as my editorial. I don't just say could, might, should, may. I don't like those words. I like using numbers. I like watching trends. And I was looking at something today, and I don't know what it was. Well, I'll tell you what it was. It only influenced it a little bit, but something kicked into my head, and it said, you know what, let's look at this. Let me tell you how this all began. I remember talking about Connecticut being a deep blue state. And I remember a conversation that we had here on the air talking about the difference between those who voted Democrat and those who voted Republican. For the gubernatorial race, Ned Lamont, Bob Stefanowski. And the number was overwhelming. It's like 710,000 versus 500. I have the actual numbers. We'll show those. If you want to watch this and view this for yourself, please, I implore you, go to reesontheradio.com so you can see the presentation I'm about to give. But it was about 174,000 votes between the two men. Of course, we know the results. Ned Lamont is the governor. And something made me go back, and I said, you know what, let me go back 20 years. Something happened in Connecticut that put us in a position that we're in now. I talk to you guys all the time, and you keep saying, when's it going to change? When's it going to change? But it was just 20 years ago, only 20 years ago, that Connecticut was a really red state, even though nationally it voted blue. 2002, ladies and gentlemen. I went all the way back. There have been 5 elections since. And I start looking at those numbers, and I want to show them to you, and I want to read them to you. And something is odd. And I'm going to say it right here, right now. I think they're cheating. And I know that that's supposed to be frowned upon. I know, trust me, I've had conversations with people here at this station, and they say, Reese, you can't really say that. You can't really say that. That opens up a whole can of worms. So you're probably asking yourself, well, Reese, if they said something, why are you saying it now? I'm on good standing here. I'm in the business of telling the truth. And I want to show you something that I discovered. And it was there for everyone to witness. So for those of you who are listening, who cannot see it, bear with me. Numbers can be hard to convey on the radio. So I'm going to try and do it slowly and methodically so that you understand. Let us begin. On the screen right now is the election that got us John Rowland in 2002. And for those of you who know those numbers, know that at the time, Rowland won by 573,958, ostensibly 574,000. His Democrat challenger, Bill Curry, had 448,900. We could say 449. And if you look at the picture here of the map of the regions, there was only one considerably blue county, and that was Windham. A lot of the counties in and around were moderately red. Tolan County, Hartford County, New Haven County, Middlesex County, New London County. The deep reds were Litchfield and Fairfield County. That's the election of 2002. So I went to the next election. We know Jody Rell had to run in Rowland's place because of that scandal. But if you look at that map, well, before we even get into that map, let's just deal with the numbers first. Jody Rell got 710,000 votes to her Democratic challenger, John DiStefano, who got 308,000 votes. Landslide. She destroyed him. If you look at that map, Windham County went deep red, from blue, from moderate blue. Every other place is deep red with the exception of Hartford County, which was moderately red. That's 2008. No, 2006. I apologize. Moving on, we get to 2010. Malloy. The election of Malloy. Now remember, Jody Rell had an overwhelming red populace in the state of Connecticut. But something weird happened in 2010. Hartford County and New Haven County went moderately blue. That seems weird. Places like Toland and Windham still stayed moderately red, but remember, they were deep red. They lightened up. All of a sudden, Middlesex and New London also very light red. Malloy gained some ground. Now, it could have been a new vote. It could have been that, Thomas Foley, maybe not a strong Republican. Good. I have no argument there. That's probably true. But everything else seemed to stay the same. Stayed the same. Litchfield and Fairfield stayed the same. Let's move on. Malloy's got to run for re-election. No, I apologize. Malloy did not. The next election we move to is, 2018. In 2018, Ned Lamont runs against Bob Stefanowski. I had to jump. Forgive me. In that election, now listen, this is important. I'm going back to Malloy for a quick second. In 2010, Malloy has 597,000 votes to 560,000 that Foley gets. So a little more than 1 million votes. Now, when Malloy is governor of Connecticut, he's hemorrhaging voters. He's hemorrhaging population. That is irrefutable, undeniable fact, because Malloy is a tax and spend politician. You all know it. You remember what the politics were of Connecticut at that time. Even people who were wealthy in the state. I knew people in Mystic who hated this guy. Hated him. He moderately won that district. Moving on again to Ned Lamont. All of a sudden, we start seeing blue in places we hadn't seen it before. We're talking about Democrat policies that Malloy was shoving down everybody's throat while he's losing people. Ned Lamont comes in, and the only places that are deep red are Windham and Litchfield. They're the only ones. All of a sudden, Toland starts becoming light red. Middlesex County, light red. New London County, blue. Light blue, but blue. And forget about Fairfield County. That's it. It's over. As well as New Haven County. But look at the numbers. Remember, we're hemorrhaging voters. We're hemorrhaging people in the state. And Lamont gets over 694,000. Even Stefanowski, who trails him, gets still in the 600,000s, about 630. The number of votes during that election, as far as the turnout was concerned, was up 61%. 61%. Now let's take you to 2022. If you can see this map, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now it's insane. Now it's fair, Ned Lamont does win a second term. But he wasn't knocking it out of the park, ladies and gentlemen. Stefanowski was really, really doing a number on Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont was spending a hell of a lot of money. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Every newspaper or publication in the state was reporting how much money he was spending. Everybody knew that. He was spending an awful lot of money. For an election, he should be winning in a landslide. And oddly enough, he does. But listen to the numbers. For the first time since Jody Rell, a governor who was less popular than her got the same numbers as her. 710,000 votes. How? Do you see the voter turnout numbers? It's down to 57%. 61 in the first, down in the next election. But yet, Ned Lamont's numbers go up. And Bob Stefanowski in the next election loses over 100,000 votes against Lamont. How? How did he do that? How did that happen? Now, I know that there were some critics of Bob Stefanowski, but against Ned Lamont and that campaign, we saw numbers that we'd never seen before for Ned Lamont, that we've never seen for Democrats in the state while they're hemorrhaging voters, while people are voting with their feet out of the state. Lamont's numbers go up to over 700,000. We hadn't seen that number since Jody Rell. Everybody's numbers stayed no higher than 600. All of a sudden, Ned Lamont's numbers are going in the high sixes to sevens. And every Republican known to man, Bob Stefanowski, he was in the 600,000s the election before. He knows if he runs again, he'll at least come within margins of the guy. Clearly making enough inroads. Wasn't like money not spent, but why was Ned Lamont spending so much money? Something is bull about this. It's got to be. Somebody is cheating. They've got to be. The trends don't make sense. You can't lose voters and have more people voting and say that the trend line is going down. You just can't. This is basic logic. Basic. Now, I know that there are some people out there who say, nah, Reese, you're all over the place on here. Okay, fine. Debate it. You got to explain to me how, and again, let's not forget, Ned Lamont and everybody here knew that the governor's office was fighting to get people to come into the state. He was luring them in with abortions. He was desperately trying to get people in the state because he knew people were leaving. There are websites and Facebook pages dedicated to people who were leaving the state. There was no way that Ned Lamont went up and 100,000 people just disappeared. No way. It doesn't, again, it doesn't, none of it makes sense. I understand a lower turnout, but not in an election like 2022. All right, the phone lines are going nuts. That's exactly what I expected because I know there are going to be some people who are asking questions. Good. That's what I want. Throw them at me. If you can debunk it, I am not coming in here with an exact science. I'm just looking at the trends, and they don't make sense. I'm just a simple guy when it comes to this stuff. And when I look at it, I go, why does that sound weird? Why does that look weird? You can't go from 700,000 in Jody Rell and in every other election thereafter is sitting in the 500s and the 600,000s, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're skyrocketing in a state where people are leaving. Because of taxes, because of job opportunity, because of crime, whatever the case may be. Demographic change might be, but not for that kind of trend, not for that kind of change. We're talking about deep red during Jody Rell. Okay? A lieutenant governor, deep red. And then Malloy comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden everything starts turning blue just out of overnight. Jody Rell was one of the most respected politicians in the last 20 years. Everybody in the state just all of a sudden woke up the other day and just went complete 180. Somebody's going to have to break that down for me. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. 860-522-WTIC. We'll be back. More news, more views, and, of course, your phone calls. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
And now, a WTIC news update.
59 degrees at 3:30.
Because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Has your home's air conditioning lost its cool? Ready for a change? Say, come on into Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling knows how to get the most out of your AC system. Change is good. Filter changes, condenser cleanings, and cleaning the outside of your unit. All systems require yearly service so your home and you can breathe a little bit easier. Before you lose your cool, contact Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling and Barney Barker Oil on Facebook or CampbellCooling.com. That's CampbellCooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Equipment.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and help them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage, and getting older, the energy level was just in the toilet, and that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the tea treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. And if
Damn, don't hurt yourself. Bless you.
I always
your
sneeze
visit
like
is
that.
free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to Northeast.
I'm sorry about that, Zach.
Important Medicare news. Doge chief
audio
Elon
was out
Musk
on that scene.
says
My
all
bad.
government spending is up for review, and the House plans to cut $800 million in health care costs. These cuts could hit Medicare and Medicaid. Now, Rob Finnerty is on Newsmax tonight, revealing the real Medicare crisis. Over 65 million people depend on Medicare, and Rob Finnerty says hardworking Americans that paid for it should get their full Medicare coverage. This week in his series Medicare in Crisis, Rob Finnerty looks at Medicare and why it faces bankruptcy. Big changes are ahead for Medicare. You need to watch Rob Finnerty tonight. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone now. Millions are switching to Newsmax because we're fighting for you.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't
1 minute.
Yes,
take
sir.
advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your social check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
That's right. It's the airing of grievance this Friday on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. We got plenty of phone calls. I knew that I was kicking a hornet's nest on this subject. Many people have been told that they can't have a conversation about voter fraud. But look at what we heard and what we've seen in Bridgeport. And look at what the defendants are saying, that this is deep-rooted within the Democrat Party. Those folks are Democrats, many of them elected officials. If they're saying it, then it's something that needs to be done. And we know the corruption is there. It doesn't make sense. I had to look at it because I was thinking about that whole, Wanda Pataki thing. I was thinking about what a lot of these people are saying. It was like, yeah, it's the Democrat Party. I'm a patsy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine. And I know these people won't talk. They're scared of what's going to happen, whether or not they'll be ruined. And, evil persists when good men do nothing. And deep down inside, I don't think these are good men or women for that matter. I think that they're only interested in telling the truth if it can save their hide. If they can't get anything out of it, if it's not transactional, they'll keep us in the dark. They'll continue to cover up the lie. I mean, look, if you know you've done something wrong and you wish to repent, if you wish to explain to the American people or nutmeggers, whomever they are, you stand up and you say, you know what, I'll take the slings and arrows. If they're going to call me a crook, let them call me a crook, but I'm here to tell you the truth. At least we know. Give us an opportunity to discern what's true and what is not. Give us an opportunity to either trust you or not. Put it in the hands of those people. If you are really intent on telling people what's really going on, do it. Don't sit up here and try to hide the football, like Lucy, saying, but I want to tell you, but I'm not going to find out what's in it for me. That's the reason why we're in this position. Because everything you did, you got something for it or from it. Don't come at us now talking about how now you're going to tell the truth. We don't fall for that nonsense, and no one should. Tell the truth, no matter how inconvenient it may be. To the phones we go, 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Mel in Hartford. How we doing, Mel? Hello? Okay, well, they can't all be there. Let's go to Jim in Naugatuck. Hello, Jim. Can I not hear him?
Oh, you didn't switch over your phone back to.
I didn't.
No, you gotta switch. You gotta switch it back to.
Oh, goodness gracious! I thought that I did that already. Okay, can you actually? Let's take Jim. If I can see them, I guess you can put them out. Can you put them in? Or can I not hear him?
No, I could put him. I can't put him on because you still got him pulled up. You gotta put him back
I gotta
on
take
hold.
him off. Okay, let me do that. I'll put him on hold. There he is. Okay, now let's take Jim. Jim, are you there? Hey, sorry about that, Jim. My bad. I got to fix my system on my screen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Jim.
Listen, I remember the first time around. I'm glad you're talking about this, and you need to keep talking about this voter fraud. It's deep in this state, and I believe you 100%. I got that gut feeling myself. I remember the first time around with Stefanowski.
Yep.
I remember listening to it Tuesday night, the night of the election. I remember hearing Stefanowski's off $15,000, and I'm like looking at my wife. Yeah, we're gonna pull this off. And then he goes, but Bridgeport and New Haven is not reported yet. I looked at my wife. I said, this is over. I said Stefanowski, and he ended up losing by I think like 10,000 votes or something like that.
It was incredible. Look, and again, look, we're talking about Stefanowski, who, if I'm thinking, did an exploratory campaign, is thinking, look how close it was in the first election against Ned Lamont. They were about 20 to 30,000 votes, I guess, against each other, right? Lamont clearly wins, but
Stefanowski was up.
Exactly.
Wednesday morning.
And they were both, again, they were in the margin of error, and not only that, they were looking at about 560,000 votes. 600,000 votes. So I don't understand how Ned Lamont in the re-election goes up to 710,000, a number we had not seen since Jody Rell. We're talking about a complete 180 in 20 years, exactly 20 years. There's no way.
And it's funny you're talking about this because I was just at an event last week with my state rep talking about our Republicans, and I was telling them, I said, look, voter fraud, you need to be everything. You need, if we need to go to Washington, D.C. to get help, to have clean elections here in Connecticut, you guys need to do it.
Yeah.
We need to be on top of our game this time around. And these people got to go. And I see they're complaining, too. And there's another trend, too, that I was looking at, too. The presidential election, when Biden supposedly got 81 million votes, if you look at the trend from the last 20 years, it's averaging 67 million, 62 million. Now, all of a sudden, you get to Biden, it's 81 million. And then we came back down to 67 million. Or Trump had a higher number than that, but I don't care.
Trump, at the end of the day, Trump got
evil
75. At the end of the day, Donald Trump had 75 million votes in the 2020 election. But you mentioned something there that's important. I want to get to this, and you're dead on. You're spot on. In the last election in 2024, do you know where Donald Trump was gaining ground and Kamala Harris was losing it? In New Haven County. How the hell is that possible?
I think it's more live than we think, than we know. I think
exactly.
I think we want change. I think people want change, and unfortunately, we got these moron Democrats that are destroying our state. And you know, I see him complaining. One more thing, if I may, I see him complaining about Doge. I love Doge, by the way.
Who wouldn't?
Stock market's going down. I know the stock market's down this and that, but you know what? The stock market's been writing false numbers for the last 4 years. We have to get back in check, and that's what's happening right now.
That's all it is.
Everybody relax. We're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just fine. But
thank you, Jim. I appreciate you. You got it, sir. Thank you. And you know what? I'll tell you this. I'm going to talk about that the Doge thing, Department of Government Efficiency. There's an interesting poll that says that over 51% of people don't believe that they should be cutting government. I think it's like 51 to 49 or 47, something like that, are against the government cuts. And I have a theory about that I want to discuss later on in the show. We'll get to that. Let's move on to Charlene before we go to break. Charlene's in New Britain. How are you, Charlene?
Fine, Reese. And I just want to say that I just absolutely love your show.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. What did you now? Are you of the ilk that say that some of this sounds fishy to you? Because, and this is the way, I'm going to assume that you're at least as old as I am. I'm 55 years old. We've watched a lot of elections. We're political animals. Is there ever a time where you've seen a state shift so demonstrably in the 180 in less than 20 years?
Well, I don't know if I've seen another state, but I certainly know what I've seen in this state.
Okay.
And I have a theory.
Go.
So it's when we changed over to the electronic machines from the mechanical voting machines we used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at some of the videos or films that people have put out where these voting machines they count in decimals.
Okay.
So I don't know about you, but I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, why would you count in decimals for
one vote?
Voting. Yeah. I mean, why would it be 1.25 or whatever?
Yes, it's so funny that you say that. I'm looking at the numbers, right? And I almost feel like there's an aggregate as opposed to a solid number, which never makes sense to me. That was one of the things that I noticed. In fact, let me see if I can pop up the screen that I put up, the screenshot that I had, and I'll tell you exactly what you're talking about to sort of give it some credence here. The piece that didn't make any sense, I'm going to go to the Stefanowski numbers with Ned Lamont. In one election, or the first election between the two, it was a 61.4% of the voter turnout, which doesn't make sense. What do you need decimal points in there? It's one person, one. But that's what they're saying as far as the electorate is concerned. That doesn't make sense to me either, because in both of those elections, do you want to know how many people who were registered to vote did not vote in either one of those elections? Do you know what the number was? The actual number?
No, I don't.
Close to 1.2 million in both elections.
Whoa.
That's right. 1.2 million people registered to vote did not show up.
That's amazing.
That is an amazing number. Because again, we're talking about remember what our population is in Connecticut. It's 3.6 mil. Registered voters in the state are over 2 mil. It's over 2 million. So you're going to tell me that in the last election, 1.2 million people didn't show up? Why?
Yeah, I mean, that seems crazy with, I mean, that kind of apathy. I mean, it's
exactly. Now, I understand that, voters rejecting the whole process is saying, sure, they registered to vote, but they're not really involved in the process. But you never see, and remember what the number was. Here's the thing. Try this on for size. In 2022, between both men, we're looking at Len Lamont with 710,000, Bob Stefanowski with 546,000. That means that the vote only turned out to be about 1.3. So we got 1.3 million people who voted. We got another 1.2 that never showed up. It means half the people who were eligible to vote didn't show up. I don't see numbers like that being in Connecticut. That doesn't make sense.
No, and actually, I was just thinking, this is purely anecdotal, but back in 2016, I remember when Trump ran the first time. And about a week before the election, I was driving up Route 10 in Connecticut. So I was on that road for probably about 45, 50 minutes.
Okay.
There was not one Hillary Clinton sign except that which was on public land.
Wow.
Okay, not one yard sign, not anything. And then the fact that she supposedly beat him by 22% or something?
Exactly, in the state.
Yeah. It was
None of it, again, it doesn't make sense. I got to go to a break, but thank you so much, Charlie. I appreciate you, and thank you for the kind words about the show. Please always call back if you can, all right?
Hey, Reese, can I just say one thing?
Yes, ma'am, real quick.
The answer is we need same-day voting, paper ballots. Then we'll know who we're really electing.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Your phone calls, I know that, listen, if I got to extend this into the next hour, I will, because a lot of people have some comments, and, of course, they're coming into the chat room, so we'll read all of that. I'll extend it. I got some other stuff to get into, but I know this is an important topic for a lot of you. I don't want to dismiss that, and I want everybody who wants to chime in get an opportunity to opine. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay.
Yeah, what setting you have your phone thing on? You got to...
Oh, yeah, tell me. Sorry. I was on
WTIC
let me go to
NewsTalk
settings.
1080.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell.
Okay, I should be at
for over 3
sub or
decades,
master
Cordell
control.
has been on the front line.
Are those your only options?
Process. It's a life-changing event that
WTIC
can impact your future,
GPIO and
finances, your relationship with your
WTIC
children.
AM production.
You've worked hard to build a
Yeah, try Master Control. Where were you? What were you on just now?
I was just on Talk Studio.
Okay, yeah, try Master Control because Talk Studio means you're live in the studio next to me.
Gotcha.
Johnson
Master
Brunetti hosting
Control.
a unique
Okay.
all-in-one event
And
for those
then
near or
I've
at
got
retirement, moderated by me,
Sub-main,
Brian Chapman.
Talk
Hear from
main,
JB
MC
Advisors,
main.
a licensed CPA, estate planning attorney, and Medicare specialist.
Talk man should be Talk man.
Okay.
On May
No, you know what? Yeah, do MC man.
to
MC Main,
RSVP
okay.
now. That's event@jb.com. Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the business of JB Capital
If
and
worse
JN
comes to
Financial.
worst.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital
Call,
LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial
Joey.
LLC.
He told me to change it, but I forgot to take a screenshot.
Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000
Yeah, not.
replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is
What I will
expired,
do
you'll have to
is-
cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans.
I agree
for any
with you
budget.
there,
Repairs
Donald.
Can be done at the certified
Republicans
mechanic of your
do need
choice,
to be
and they're paid
more
directly
active
with
in
no
that.
middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-380-9012. 800-380-9012. Again, that's 800-380-9012.
$5,000. That's the average.
1 minute.
People in the U.S.
Got
are
it.
now spending on gas in a year.
Did you click on somebody yet?
No, I haven't touched anybody yet.
Yeah, click on somebody, see if it turns white, and then you can put them back on hold.
Yes, that's right. You can earn real
Yeah,
Turns red.
upside.
Yeah, it turns white on my end.
Okay.
So that's good. Okay.
All right, good enough.
Cashback today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Upside
That's
app
all.
and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We're back, and I will get to the phones in a minute here. Do I have enough time? Let me see. 2 minutes left. You know what? Let's go to Ralph in South Carolina real quick, see if we can get him in here. Ralph, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
There he is.
You remember the old saying, power corrupts absolutely?
Yes,
Power
sir.
corrupts absolutely?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
That's what you have in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. It's a real truth to all of this as far as that power corrupting, absolutely. And I blame, to be honest with you, I see this as an activist class issue. With the amount of people who are activists in this state who run for the Democrats, they've got an organization in here that can cheat not without anybody's knowledge, but Republicans don't have enough ground game to keep up, is what I'm thinking.
So that's so. If you remember, you go back to the Obama administration, Reese. Connecticut would be bankrupt except for the billions of dollars they gave to fund their pension plans.
Indeed.
They were running out of money, but the Democrats bailed them out. So the people from Nebraska and Idaho paid for the pensions for the people in Connecticut. But the main reason I call, Reese, if I can,
real quick,
is why is the F word such a make you a hero when you use the F word? Is that something that people really think, boy, if I use the F word, I'm really cool?
The biggest problem that people have had, and I actually read a study about this very early on when I joined here. I remember asking a 5 o'clock focus question about whether or not people were hearing curse words more common inside the business world. Remember that? I remember I talked about it. I said people are now using expletives in their business. Is that a coming trend? Because I was starting to see that normalized in some ways. I believe that study played a role in what the Democrats are doing today. They, in a desperate need to sound relevant or to sound like the everyman, they're using more and more F-bombs. I think that's where it's coming from. I got to go, Ralph, but thank you, sir, as always. Let's get a first check of our weather and traffic during the show, that is, with Jason Catarinas, who's got your weather, and our good friend Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone. And if you are traveling on the northbound side of I-91, look out for a crash now on 91 northbound between exit 20 and exit 21. And right now, the left lane's blocked. Looks like delays are back to the Middletown rest area behind that. After that, good ride up into Hartford. Southbound 91, some slow traffic 34 down to 32 A and B. Westbound 84 is tied up just after 56 Governor
Michael
Street
B.,
up to
you're a
47
pain in the
84
ass.
eastbound locked up 44
What's up,
Prospect
Greg?
over down to the Bulkley. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound delays approaching 26 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, you've got delays 17 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound tied up in Danbury, getting by exit 5. Again, 84 eastbound slowing from 8 in Danbury. You're tied up to 11 in Newtown. And southbound 95, some slow traffic, 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Northbound Parkway delays 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8s WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Friday, turning cloudy and milder with the high of 58. Tonight, cloudy, still mild, a couple of showers, then a steadier rain developing, the low down to 47. Breezy and milder on Saturday, even with occasional rain and drizzle. It'll be mainly early in the day, though, the high of 63. Couple of showers still Saturday night, the low down to 41. Then cloudy on Sunday, cool, the high of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock at afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury stepmother Kimberly Sullivan left her latest court appearance today wearing a GPS monitor. She remains free on bond. Her defense attorney entered a not guilty plea on her behalf on charges including kidnapping, assault, and cruelty to a person. She's accused of holding her husband's son captive at home for more than 20 years. The emaciated victim rescued last month after setting the family home on fire. WTIC's Dave Mager was in the courtroom today.
Facing the chance of spending the rest of her life in prison if convicted, prosecutor Don Thurkelson argued Sullivan has incentive to flee.
If it's come to court, face the charges, and if she's convicted, face the rest of your life in jail or flee, I think it's a pretty simple alternative, an equation would permit her to flee.
Judge Joseph Schwartz agreed, ordering Sullivan to wear a GPS monitor. Defense attorney John Kaloidis says that could restrict her safety as she faces what he calls online threats.
She needs to be able to have freedom of movement, and at times, in fact, Your Honor, I've actually advised her to leave the state initially, given the media attention.
The defense still maintains Sullivan has been convicted in the press and has the right to a fair trial. Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
On another front in this case, the Department of Children and Families says it has unearthed records regarding the family. Initially, when the story first broke, the DCF said there weren't any records available, despite a couple of previous visits from staff there, and they are going through those records with Waterbury Police. In Wolcott, 3 family members are dead following a Thursday evening domestic violence incident. According to police, 59-year-old David Coate was being evicted from a home on Bound Line Road. Some type of dispute ensued between him and 55-year-old Michelle Coate, his estranged wife. Officers say their 34-year-old son, David Jr., attempted to take the gun out of his father's hands, at which point police say he and Michelle Coate were fatally shot. The son's friend, who was a registered gun owner, fatally shot the father, says Wolcott Police Chief Edward Stevens.
No one's in custody yet. I mean, this is a matter of self-defense. You know, we have a gentleman who already shot 2 people. It appears to defend himself, but again, we are investigating now. We'll get to the bottom of exactly what happened. He was the person that did shoot the father, was the one that dialed 911.
And Stevens says it was an isolated incident and adds there hasn't been a deadly shooting in town in at least 7 to 8 years. Megan Scanlon, the executive director of the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence, says Connecticut has strong firearms laws when it comes to those involved in domestic violence situations.
We, have been working actually on the Domestic Violence Criminal Justice Advisory Council at the state to look at when there's orders of protection in place and if those firearms are being taken from the home in a timely manner and what that process looks like.
She says help is available to victims. They can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, 800-799-7233, or local police. Search continues for survivors of that massive earthquake that hit Myanmar and Thailand today. More from the BBC's Lyndall Markwell.
There is a huge mound of rubble. It's almost a hill in front of us. We've got rescue workers and rescue vehicles continually coming past us. There has been some movement in the last few hours where they have started gradually to use diggers to start working on finding people, hopefully, in this collapsed building.
At least 150 confirmed dead. The quake measured a magnitude 7.7, was followed by a 6.4 aftershock. Vice President Vance in Greenland today making the case for the United States to snatch the territory from Denmark.
What we have to recognize is that if the Chinese and the Russians are going to pursue their national interest, we need a president who's going to pursue the American national interest, and that means ensuring that Greenland is safe.
He says Denmark has underinvested in the island's security. What a mess on Wall Street today. The Dow down over 700 points at one time. Tariffs have left a lot of uncertainty, says Paul LaMonica with Barron's.
There's a lot of anxiety on Wall Street about what's going to happen to consumer spending, what's going to happen to auto sales with the auto tariffs. So, it's sort of cliche to say Wall Street hates uncertainty, but guess what? Wall Street hates uncertainty.
Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance, and the Dow winding up 715 points in the red. The NASDAQ APAC 481, S&P down 112. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like every woman. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and life.
All right, here we go.
Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We'll get to your phone calls in a minute. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Don't forget, folks, starting on April 2nd, okay, April 2nd, you can, and you should, help out our sponsors and help out our friends. And that is Between Rounds, your bagel, bakery, and sandwich cafe, is going to be doing the Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich at all 5 locations. All you have to do is go to betweenroundsbagels.com, find out wherever their locations are. Now, check this out. From April 2nd throughout the month, go to Between Rounds, get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, no matter how you like it, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just let them know, hey, I'm coming to get the Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and they will donate $1 to our good friends over at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. That's all you have to do. And I'm trying to figure out a name for it, so we're either going to, like the tag should have something like this.
A la peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
I always liked that when I was a kid. You remember that from Sesame Street. But then I think a lot of people really, really like the peanut butter and jelly time. They like that song as well. So maybe we'll do that. But I like a la peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let's get another check of your weather with Jason Catarinas. But first, Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, remember, April 2nd, peanut butter jelly time for lunch. Okay?
I like that.
Okay.
That sounds awesome.
It's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day.
There you go. It's a big tie-in. It's all working. It's
Exactly.
all working. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by Tab Computer Systems, a 100% employee-owned company. And if you're traveling on the northbound side of 91, we have a crash in Middletown now up by exit 20. Left lane is blocked there. Looks like delays are back to exit 18 behind that. Also, in that same general area, look out for a crash northbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Looks like it's right on the end of the parkway on the right side there, right in that construction area. So definitely look out for that there. If you are traveling north of that, a little slow 91 northbound, 25-26 with the Putnam Bridge, and then a good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Slowing down by exit 28, and again, you'll see some slow traffic from 20 in Middletown, sluggish right down to the Wilbur Cross Parkway in Meriden. Westbound side of 84, you're locked up now, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush, 84 eastbound, slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley, 291 through 84, okay, east of the river, 2 westbound, slowing exit 4 up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound Middletown, you're tied up. Approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge, 84 westbound Cheshire, sluggish, stop and go, 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury, 84 eastbound Waterbury, slowing 17 to 18. 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays from 9 up to exit 11. Southbound on the Parkway, look out, we have a crash now. 15 northbound between exit 59 and exit 60. That is taking out the right lane there. And we're seeing delays on the southbound side of the Parkway now from 60 down into the West Rock Tunnel. If you're traveling 95 south in New Haven, delays 46 down to 42 in West Haven. At Tab Computer Systems, our employee owners are dedicated to your business success. We offer affordable enterprise-grade solutions in cybersecurity, VoIP, compliance, IT consulting, implementation, and support. Technologies advancing business, Tab Computer Systems. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
All quiet on the radar right now, but we'll have a couple of showers this evening, then some rain and drizzle late. The low dropping down to 44. A breezy and cooler day Saturday. Occasional rain and drizzle mainly early in the day. And we're going to have a front draped right over the top of us, so temperatures are going to be varying sharply statewide. Chillier weather to the north and east, but warmest to the southwest. The high of 49 for us, though. Cloudy with rain at night on Sunday, the high of 48 during the day. Mostly cloudy, milder Monday, a breezy afternoon with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in there, too. The high 67. Sunny to partly cloudy Tuesday, breezy and cooler as we head toward midweek with the high of 53. Currently, it's 56 in Waterbury, 60, though, in Danbury, 56 in New London, and 59 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99, or upgrade to a MicroGuard Select filter for just $2 more. Limits apply. Available in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Seems everything costs more these
1 minute.
groceries. And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Yeah, Tim.
Get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
It's nice to see people inside the chat room actually agreeing that Bridgeport, Connecticut, as far as politics goes, is quite suspect. Really, do you really think that it's just isolated to Bridgeport? I hope no one does. Look, I know this is a statewide thing. Regardless, and look, we should be free to talk about it because it's a problem. It's a really, really big problem. Anyway, let's get back to the phones because I want to get to the audio today. Was a press conference held. We'll play it in a minute, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw it. Let's get back to the phones. White Mike, calling from Florida. How we doing, big guy?
Hey, man. Well, so clearly I'm not well versed on Connecticut state politics.
Sure.
So I kind of want to do my grievance instead of participating, if that's okay.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. It's great. It's airing of Grievance Friday. What do you got?
So right now, the leftists are up in arms about the influence of billionaires.
Yes.
They've griped about, Gates and Bezos and Zuck. And, of course, they really have a hate on for Elon. But why is nobody upset about Larry Fink?
Yes. Such a good point. Larry Fink was just did a thing with the New York Times or the CNBC host talking about how we have to force behavior inside businesses, not just his own, every business.
And for the people who don't know, because he is kind of a shadowy figure, Larry Fink is CEO of BlackRock.
Exactly.
And I have a page pulled up here. Now, BlackRock outright owns huge sections of the financial services industry, including Merrill Lynch. 100% ownership. You know that neat little app, Acorns?
Yes.
Where it takes change and invests it? BlackRock owns that.
Yep.
But let me run down a quick, short list of companies they own majority stock in.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Apple, Exxon, Chevron, Google, Pfizer, JP Morgan Chase, Coca-Cola, Bank of America, Verizon, United Healthcare, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Berkshire Hathaway. Oh, and how about Disney and Viacom?
Yep.
So this one company run by one man has the power to place people who believe like he does on the boards of these companies. That's what people don't understand. Yes, the BlackRock technically doesn't own this. The shareholders in BlackRock own this. But the person who runs the company and makes the choices is a radical globalist. You wonder why the content you see in entertainment is all leaning in one direction?
Exactly.
It's because of this guy. This guy is the one who puts the communists on the board at Disney, who's backing Iger. He's the guy that put Brian Robbins.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He's the guy that backed Brian Robbins to be the chairman of the board or the CEO of Viacom, and Viacom owns Paramount and owns Nickelodeon. So you have one guy who is setting the cultural tone for basically the world, the most powerful, influential man on the planet, and nobody says anything.
Such a good point. I want to play this just to give you, again, consider what White Mike has just brought up. That guy, again, owning all influential power, no matter what. We're talking about money management. We're talking about entertainment. We're talking about Coca-Cola. Like every facet of your everyday life. The guy who's in charge of that is one man. And listen to this. This is what he said. This was a conversation that he was having with, I think it was Deal Book, but he was talking to the host of the CNBC show. I forget this guy's name. He's got like one of those three named guys, like a Disney actor. Anyway, but here's what Larry Fink said in his own words.
One thing we're asking companies, you have to force behaviors. And at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year. And what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted, okay?
We're doing the same thing.
And so it's just, you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said. And ultimately, it's still going to take time, but I am just as much shocked as Ken is that we have not seen more opportunities. And we're going to have to.
So here's what and again, that's Andrew Sorkin is the guy who's the host of the CNBC show. But that was him talking just recently, talking about how you have to force those behaviors. And he's talking about forcing those behaviors in every one of those businesses you just mentioned.
Now imagine if Larry Fink were, I don't know, who was the guy who was the CEO of Chick-fil-A? Ed Cathy?
Yes, Cathy, yes. Cathy, yeah.
Christian. Imagine if an evangelical Christian had this much power and influence and said, I'm going to place my personal beliefs into every single facet of your life.
Indeed.
We're going to have Christian programming everywhere. Companies are going to have Christian standards. Companies are going to sell exclusively Christian merchandise. Don't forget, buddy, they own majority shares of Target. And we saw what happened to Target.
That's right.
The evil put forward last Friday.
Such a good point.
So,
And you're right. It's like this is the point that has to be made to the left, and those who are on the fence, who believe a lot of this. So it's like Elon has all of this control over. This guy Larry Fink has every bit of the control. Forget about what Elon Musk is doing in the government. This guy has control over every facet of your everyday life. Government is not a part of your everyday life, unless, of course, you're on the dole. But if you're an average citizen, this guy Larry Fink has more control over your life than Elon Musk does.
And BlackRock owns 9.6% of Tesla, just so you know.
That's right.
So that's the big bad. And the fact that everybody is walking around blind to this, and he's the guy that doesn't get criticized. If you try to criticize George Soros, who is also equally powerful, you get slapped with the 1939 German thing.
Right.
But Larry managed to dodge that, and he's of the same ilk as Soros. So
Indeed.
It's just weird this guy has dodged any kind of criticism, probably because he owns the media.
That's correct. That's right. And again, he's in bed with they're in bed with him, I should say, because he does. He owns every facet. Yep.
Everybody on the board is his lackey.
That's right.
Including Bob Iger at Disney.
And
So
you
there
remember
go.
what the guy says in that audio. He says that you have to adhere, or you're just not going to be able to survive. Now, that's the guy who's at the lever of power.
And this is why your Gen Z people are massively programmed. I was called a misogynist by a coworker yesterday because I saw a homeless prostitute walking down the multi-use trail in front of the office. Clearly a homeless prostitute because she was wearing Daisy Dukes and Heeley boots and, carrying her bag full of goodies. And when I said, hey, look, a homeless hooker, I was called a prostitute by a 22-year-old Gen Z. A misogynist.
A
by
misogynist.
22-year-old Gen Z.
It's incredible.
So they've warped the minds of everybody, buddy.
You got it, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. Let's go to Doc in Harwington. Hey, Doc.
Hey, first of all, Fink has the right last name, but I have a bone to pick. Now, yes, of course the machines are going to count in decimal. 1, that's a decimal. 2, that's a decimal. 3, that's a decimal.
Is that a point? So you're saying that each vote is a point vote or a vote?
No, a vote. There's no 1.2 votes or 0.9 votes. It's decimal numbers are 1 through a Google.
But that doesn't, wait a minute, you got to, hold on, you got to circle that. I mean, you got to square that circle for me. I'm not understanding that. So you're saying that every vote is less than a decimal? I mean, less than a point?
No. What Charlene was saying was that votes aren't counted as 1, 2, 3, 4.
Shouldn't they?
You're saying they're counted as, she was talking as if they were counted in decimals as in 0.9 or 0.8. Because she didn't understand why they were being counted in decimals.
Okay, so explain to me. So is each vote 1 point or 0.1?
Each 1. 1 vote is 1. 2 votes is 2. 3 votes is 3.
So where are we getting the
4 votes is
0.1
4.
from?
Because she was saying she doesn't understand why ballots are counted in decimals.
Yeah. I think I'm asking you the same question. You said that each one.
They have to be.
Tell me why.
They
I
have
don't
to
think you're explaining to me, or maybe I'm not understanding.
Okay. A decimal number is a number based on the 10. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Correct.
And then 11, 12, all the way up. So a decimal number is just 1 through whatever.
I'll put it to you this way. You have a finite number of of the electorate. You have a finite number. No person is voting point something, right? My vote isn't 1.3% of anything. My vote is either 1 or it's no, right? Or 0. Is that fair?
Right.
So how are we taking a finite number and averaging it through a point system is what she and I are trying to discern.
Okay. If you have 1,000 votes and 640 of them are for one person,
that percentage should be clear.
Yeah, 60.4%.
How?
604 divided by 1,000 is 0.604.
Okay, so, all right. Okay, now you're making sense to me. Okay, so when you're saying her question is, are we counting votes based upon percentages versus the amount of votes you're saying overall, correct? Or are you saying the same thing that she's saying?
I'm saying that we count the votes overall.
Okay.
And then person A gets A over the number of votes. Person B gets B over the number of votes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that I get. I thought that she was making a different point than that, but if you're saying that she wasn't, then I see the correction here.
Yeah, and it's a common mistake. Even in engineering school, I ran into that when I was teaching kids.
Okay. Well, no, thank you for clarifying. Like I said, we don't all get to be right just because we agree. But I love the way that you laid it out, because in essence, they're breaking down a percentage of people based upon 1,000. Because what do they do as far as the vote or the votes are concerned? Do they count it by the thousands or by the? Is it more than that?
By the one.
By the one.
Well, they count by the one.
Okay, no, but when they're averaging the percentage, is it by the 1,000?
No, you take the total number of votes.
Right.
And then you divide it into the number of votes the person got.
Okay, so let's take, so when that percentage says that the percentage of voters went up 64.1%, what are they voting that based on? Every 100,000, every 1,000? How do you get that?
No, that would mean if you took the votes from 2022 and subtracted that from the votes from 2024.
Okay.
And that took that difference over the votes in 2022. That's the percentage they're talking about.
Good. Thank you. That's what I wanted you to explain, so I appreciate you.
Which is why it doesn't make sense.
I got you.
As to what we've seen for a change.
I got you.
The math makes sense, but the data doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Okay, I think you're okay. I get exactly what you're doing. You, in essence, you're making an argument for it, but although saying that it doesn't make sense because that's the way in which they're doing it, the percentages are correct, but how it's being done is wrong.
Correct. Yeah, their counting is off.
That's what I thought. Okay, good. Thank you. I think you both are arguing the same thing in two different ways, but thank you for the clarification. That makes sense now. Thanks, Doc.
Take care.
You got it, sir. Let's go. Let's take one more. I will take Adam in East Hartford before we go to a break. What's going on, Adam?
Hey, Reese, thanks for taking my call. I was just going to ask, what have people gone mad with this lady, with the emaciated man? No wonder he had no strength to get out of there and fight back. And then the shooting there in Wolcott. It's like Connecticut's gone mad lately over the last few weeks.
It's a different state, and I think. I think that's a part of the conversation that we're having today, is that Connecticut, and again, being a guy from the tri-state area, but from New York, Connecticut was the place that everyone wanted to go. I've got to move there. If I'm going to move anywhere out of state where I could be close to New York City, I would move to Connecticut or New Jersey. I wouldn't move near the Hudson River, but I would move to New Jersey. And I lived in Fort Lee, and again, I lived in Manchester. And again, I've always loved the state of Connecticut. What's happening now, it's unheard of, but I think there are a lot of reasons for that we're going to have to get to the bottom of. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, sir. Let's take another break, and let's get some weather and traffic. Jason Catarinas, of course, has your weather. And Mark Christopher, he's got a breakdown on what's going on in traffic in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Middletown right now.
Berlin police have made 3 arrests in connection with an ATM theft in town back in February. They are charging 24-year-old Francisco Ayala of Ansonia and 22-year-old Donnie James and 34-year-old Edgar Crespo. They're both from Bridgeport. 3 accused of trying to rip off an ATM machine back in February from a gas station on the Berlin Turnpike. And King Charles waved to well-wishers in central London as he headed for his country estate in western England today. The appearance came a day after he was briefly hospitalized because of side effects from a scheduled cancer treatment. Down day all around on Wall Street. The Dow lost 715 points, the NASDAQ shed 481, and the S&P dropped 112. Men's college hockey, about a half an hour face-off. UConn and Quinnipiac, first-round NCAA tournament action in Allentown, PA. Baseball on TIC tonight. Red Sox in Texas, 7:05 the pregame here. Yanks have the day off. The Mets are in Houston. And in the NBA, the Knicks travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get 1 line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Has your home's air conditioning lost its cool? Ready for a change? Say, come on into Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling knows how to get the most out of your AC system. Change is good. Filter changes, condenser cleanings, and cleaning the outside of your unit. All systems require yearly service so your home and you can breathe a little bit easier. Before you lose your cool, contact Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling and Barney Barker Oil on Facebook or CampbellCooling.com. That's CampbellCooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Equipment.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free. IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
You know what's up.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today in the whole, signal text scandal that's going on. This had to be the dumbest thing that I read. Maggie Haberman of the New York Times. Someone needs to call the mayor and have her promoted to detective. She was asked on Caitlin Collins' show, why do you think Donald Trump is not going to fire Mike Waltz or Pete Hegseth? Why do you think he won't fire him? And she gives what's got to be the dumbest answer. Like, she thought she was breaking news in this.
I think that if this stays in the headlines, they are going to have a choice to make. Trump is very clear that, according to a number of people I've spoken to, he does not want to fire someone because he sees that as giving in to the media. People around him see that as weak, and I think you will hear that for a while. Whether this is sustainable for them is another story, and some of what is going to determine that is how many more headlines continue that relate to this. As you say, it is not going away. And it is, Caitlin, it's important to note, there's such a flood the zone from this administration and has been since day one, frankly, since he won the election. Very few things really break through to the general public. This one really has.
And all she's admitting to is that because they got some ground out of this, they're going to keep talking about it so that it can force the White House to fire somebody and they can say they won. This isn't about news reporting. This is adversarial journalism to force the hand of the Trump administration. You fire someone and they'll call this a victory. And he's been inundating them with so many stories, they're scared to death that nothing's going to break through. But that was only equally met by the lying coming out of Caitlin Collins' mouth on the show in the same bit. Listen to Caitlin Collins and what she says about the Trump administration and this whole signal texting scandal.
So what does that playbook look like? Because this week, obviously, it's been a very familiar one of not admitting a mistake or really going as far as, we've seen Secretary Rubio do so, but that's really the only person who's come out as much as he did.
Really, Caitlin? Marco Rubio is the only person who came out and said that it was a mistake. Are you sure?
Instead, they've gone on the attack against Jeffrey Goldberg, against, just all sorts of things in this matter.
Yeah. No one has said it was a mistake other than Marco Rubio, huh? Really?
We made a mistake. We're moving forward, and we're going to continue to knock it out of the park for this president.
Mike Waltz, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Waltz, the guy who's responsible. The audacity. We'll come back. More news, more views. Let's get to the weather and traffic. Jason Catarinas, of course, has your weather. And Mark Christopher's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you.
Drizzle late, the low dropping down to 44 for us rather. Breezy and cooler with occasional rain and drizzle, mainly early in the day as we head through Saturday. Sharply varying temperatures statewide as a front's going to be draped right over the area. Chillier weather to the north and east, warmest southwest, the high of 49. Overcast Saturday night, the low down to 38 with a couple of showers. Cloudy, rain at night on Sunday, but dry during the day, the high 48. Monday, cloudy and milder. Breezy in the afternoon with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 67. Tuesday, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and cooler, the high of 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Hey, Tom Shattuck here. As you know, my friend Phil has been on Awaken 180 weight loss for now 6 weeks. Let's check in with Phil.
Down 6.8 last week. Since I started, I'm down 38 pounds.
That's more than 6 pounds a week. Awaken180weightloss.com.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277688, D10401465, E11856443, S330869, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Important Medicare news. 1 minute. Elon Musk says all government spending is up for review, and the House plans to cut $800 million in healthcare costs. These cuts could hit Medicare and Medicaid. Now, Rob Finnerty is on Newsmax tonight, revealing the real Medicare crisis. Over 65 million people depend on Medicare, and Rob Finnerty says hardworking Americans that paid for it should get their full Medicare coverage. This week in his series Medicare in Crisis, Rob Finnerty looks at Medicare and why it faces bankruptcy. Big changes are ahead for Medicare. You need to watch Rob Finnerty tonight. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone.
Here we go.
Millions are switching to Newsmax because we're fighting for you.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Stephen Harding Jr., Senator Stephen Harding Jr., was in the news recently, and he gave a speech talking about the corruption in Connecticut. It went a little bit like this.
It's just one thing, as Vin mentioned, in a line of corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse that the governor's office and Senate Democrats and House Democrats have seemingly wanted nothing to do with. And in fact, when they get asked, I could write the press release right now for Senate Democrats. It's going to be about Washington, D.C., I can guarantee you. You know why? Because they don't want to talk about anything that goes on in this building. And when you see what is going on in this building with the waste, fraud, and corruption and abuse, I wouldn't want to talk about it either if I owned it. So it's about time we finally do something about the taxpayer dollars that are being used on this waste and this fraud and this corruption. And this is not speculation anymore. These are your own articles that we're quoting. This is your own reporting. And this is grand juries indicting individuals. That's called small ball, and we get told no comment. Where is the accountability? At what point is enough enough? My constituents and all of our constituents behind us are sick and tired of sending money up to Hartford and Connecticut and get told that it's getting spent well when you see people getting arrested for corruption.
Now, everything that Senator Harding had to say there was perfect. I don't have a beef with it. I don't. And I do understand what's going on in the state. We know that it's corruption. We know that it is. But I got to tell you, there's a problem with the Republican Party in the state of Connecticut. And it's something that we're all going to have to come to terms with. There is no organization with rank-and-file Republicans in the state. There is no organization with average voters in the state of Connecticut whom are Republicans. There isn't. They do not stick out like a sore thumb like Indivisible does, Act Blue, whatever the group is. They do not. They're there. You know, I watched that protest. You might remember, Mark in West Hartford went to the rally in West Hartford. Wasn't really a rally, but it was like a town hall that Dick Blumenthal and Chris Murphy did. And they had plenty of Democrats lined up around the corner to go in there. Many of them political activists, as they were. You saw a rip-roaring crowd if you watched it on YouTube. Members of plenty of groups were there, identifying themselves with some political action group or another. Indivisible was well represented there. But when you looked outside, you had sporadic, sort of contrarian factions that were out there. This small person there, this one individual there. There was not a lot of Republican cohesiveness. There was presence, but not active cohesion. One group here, one group there, one spattered here, one spattered there. If I remember correctly, I think Mark in West Hartford would say, look, I'm unaffiliated. And I understand that. And I'm not saying that that's anyone shouldn't be. I totally get Mark in West Hartford is completely different in that. I'm just taking based upon his video that he showed. I couldn't help but notice that. There was not a lot of organization. Sure, there were a lot of people there protesting the Democrats, but there was no coalition or group. You don't see that kind of organization on the Republican side that you do with Democrats. It doesn't matter which political action group there are, they're all together with a unified message. Even though they disagree, when they're there to protest or to show a presence, they're all unified in that one message. They can hold up signs that are completely, different than each other, but they'll be walking in the same circle. They'll be cheering the same things. They'll be applauding the same commentary. There's a cohesion. Republicans, not so much in the state. Now, for what reason that is, I don't know. Do they think it's pointless? Do they think they won't be recognized? Do they not know how to get the attention of the news media? Do they not know who they would or how they would get the message out? Well, if that's a problem, don't worry about it. Reese on the Radio is going to solve that. Trust me. But people have to start admitting that Republicans don't have a ground game here. Look, as much as Senator Harding wants to be upset, and is screaming and hollering and using the reporter's own reporting to say that there's corruption in the state, nothing's being done. The state remains blue, and even the people here, if you're to trust it, seem to be applauding, if not cheering or celebrating, the corruption that keeps them in power. But then again, that may be the point. Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Lori in Glastonbury. Hey, Lori.
Hey, Reese. So I have two grievances.
Go for it.
The first grievance is that when we win an election, we tend to get a little too comfortable. Like, okay, we did our job. Trump is in office. So now we can just relax on our laurels.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't recognize that there are special elections happening
That's
that we
right.
should be participating in, or that there's going to be the midterms and we need to get off our duffs and make sure that we're participating in those. And so I just want, that's a grievance that we tend to be lazy once we think we've won. My second grievance is that I still share a birthday with Jasmine Crockett. That's my other grievance.
Which is tomorrow, by the way. And let me say, in spite of that, happy birthday to you. And Lori, I'm going to do my best to remember to give you a shout out on my Sunday show.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Now, I'm just going to ask a weird question here, and I'll accept you hanging up on me when I ask it.
So it's good that I said have a lovely day before you ask the question. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
So, how old are we going to be this time around?
We are going to be.
You're going to answer it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. You know what? You get a second round of applause for that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to
29.
I don't look. I have been told repeatedly by other people that I do not look my age. So I will be more than happy to share my age. I'm going to be 56.
Oh, come on. Oh, you're in the ranks with old Reese on the Radio. You probably look fantastic because I look stunning.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Thank you.
Well played.
Happy birthday, Lori.
Thank you.
You got it. Let's go. Let's go to Mike is in Plainville. How we doing, Mike?
It's a privilege to reach this plateau in age, the big 7-0.
Hey, what are you talking about? I'm fearful of that age. I keep wondering, like, what kind of person am I going to be like at 70? At 55, I can't bend down, Mike. I can't. I'm worried about it.
We're gonna have to buckle up because things. I'm not a pessimist, but I just think that we need to keep an eye on things. I'm concerned about Donald Trump's safety.
You and I,
number one.
You and I both.
Number two, we should keep an eye on all these congressmen, congresswomen, and senators, because I hope they're checking them. I hope they have metal detectors in the Capitol at every entrance, because I wouldn't put it past one of these wackos like, what's her name? I can't say it. There's a number of them. I don't trust them.
You know, I don't want to
know.
say it. I don't want to say it, but it's been on my mind a lot, Mike. So let me say what I know that you're saying. And in fact, I'll ask you, and then you can tell me what you think. Has there ever been a time where it's crossed your mind that the person that may or would be so frustrated at this president or this administration that an elected official may be the perpetrator of something dire?
Yes.
Do you think about that?
It happens. Yes, and it's happened with the post office. It's happened in large companies. It just.
You know what? I'll put it to you this way. Let's go this way. Do you know the story of Harvey Milk?
Harvey Milk. No.
Okay. Happened in San Francisco. Go look it up. Go look up the story.
Harvey Milk. Is he the guy that shot and killed a politician?
He was shot and killed by a politician.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. In fact, there's a film. There is a film about his life, Sean Penn and James Brolin. There's a film about his life called Milk. Right. That's right.
I've never watched the full. I watched parts of it.
Yeah, I remember that story growing up, and I'll never forget it. And I said to myself, in that movie and that story often rings into my head, often saying to myself, and it was just recently, even at the inauguration, I'm saying to myself, imagine the animosity for this man, that someone would be the sacrificial lamb for the party. You know what I mean? Like, would say, you know what I mean? Like, sort of have that moment where they would be so encumbered by their hatred for this man.
Give anybody any ideas, but I mean, you got suicide bombers in foreign countries. I mean, people, they see nothing but
blind hate,
destruction.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's
blind hate when they're right at the end of their end of it.
And again, look, if you know, listen, look at the people who are putting themselves in federal situations, like the guy who firebombed the Tesla place. The guy who just got arrested, the 449-pound guy who drove his ATV into a Tesla. People who know that the Tesla has cameras all over it, who are busted, keying them. One woman stopped her car, came out with her keychain, threatening a person driving a Tesla, and it turns out that woman was a millionaire, well-to-do, who stopped her car to harass a Tesla owner to call him a Nazi. This woman is of opulence and wealth, and she still couldn't contain. She knew that this was going to get her in trouble, but of course she can afford, the little, misdemeanor charges she's going to get. But she was willing to put her life and her family, her children even, in jeopardy for a political ideology. We look at go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we got Annie Dunleavy. The girl who had to resign from her teaching position, and the other young lady who worked for Bezos's Blue Sky company, who killed her own father over the election. So it's daunting every day to think about.
Definitely 10 years ago, what a difference. I mean, the work I've done in my life is I was paid to be a trained observer, and you could feel it, you could see it. I go out every day, just walking into a store or Stop and Shop or a restaurant and stuff. You could just see the uneasiness in people's faces.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of look at them and say, hey, how you doing? And it's different than it was 20 or 30 years ago. Hey, you know, people don't have that happy edge anymore like they used to. I do. I try to maintain it, but it's just all this stuff is just bringing the public down.
In my view, I just think that there's a bloodlust and a thirst for this that is that needs to be contained. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Do I have time for I don't want to give anybody just a minute because we're going to go right to the break. So, guys, please do me a favor. Stick around. I promise I'll get to you momentarily because we're going to have to get to the break soon. I want to play this other bit. Speaking of somebody who often gets on my nerves, Chris Murphy has another audio talking about the violence against Elon Musk and Teslas, as I was just speaking with Mike about. Chris Murphy has a problem with signing a resolution against the violence on Tesla dealerships. That has nothing to do with Elon. It does have to do with actual people, Americans who work there. And Chris Murphy has an issue with this. And I want to talk a little bit about that and about what Chris Murphy is saying in this speech on the House floor. Chris Murphy, I understand that you have a new girlfriend, but you are obviously glomming onto the ideology of a child. She may be younger, but she's not smarter. And we'll play that audio in a little bit when we get to the top of the hour. Okay? And don't forget, Peanut Butter Jelly Time's coming up next Wednesday, April 2nd. We'll talk about that as well. Jason Catarinas has got your weather, but first, Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. He'll tell you what's going on the road. Hey, buddy. Hey,
thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're on the southbound side of I-91, look out for a crash between 40 and 38A and B. It looks like it's right by the Kennedy Road on-ramp. They're pulling the car out of the woods as we speak right now. So that on-ramp that taking you down to 39, from 39 down to 91 South, that is partially blocked with that exit-only on-ramp lane blocked there. So traffic is swinging into that right lane. Look for delays approaching the area of the on-ramp. And once you get around that, you get a decent ride into Hartford, just a little slow, 33 down to 32 A and B. Some slow traffic again, 91 southbound as you move between 24 and 23 in Rocky Hill. Northbound side of 91, a little slow in Middletown at 20 Country Club Road. After that, a good ride, Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84, slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge, out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue, down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84, okay. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge with 84 West. Route 9 northbound, you've got delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're 84 eastbound, delays in Waterbury 17 to 18. Westbound 84, sluggish stop and go from the 691 interchange up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 9 up to exit 11. Southbound Parkway delays 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slowing 48 in New Haven down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
The W.I. Clark Company, now 100 years strong. Find us at WIClark.com. 100 years ago, W.I. Clark started out with a mission: sell superior construction equipment backed by quality parts and service. Today, we represent brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy. The W.I. Clark Company. Find us at WIClark.com.
WTIC weather. The rest of our Friday turning cloudy and milder with a high of 58. Tonight, cloudy, still mild, a couple of showers, then a steadier rain developing, the low down to 47. Breezy and milder on Saturday, even with occasional rain and drizzle. It'll be mainly early in the day, though, a high of 63. Couple of showers still Saturday night, the low down to 41. Then cloudy on Sunday, cool, a high of 48. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A judge orders Waterbury stepmother Kimberly Sullivan to wear a GPS monitor as a condition of release. Prosecutors call Sullivan a flight risk. She's accused of holding her husband's son captive at home for more than 20 years. He was finally discovered in emaciated condition last month after setting the house on fire. Prosecutor Dan Thurgelson says additional witnesses have been contacting police.
For example, a friend of the defendants of 21 years has come forward and provided a written statement to the state, to the police, that in the 21 years she's known this defendant, she's never spoken of a stepson. She was shocked to learn she had a stepson, and that friend was never allowed in this house.
Now, defense attorney John Kaloidis downplays the significance of that statement.
Some random witness that wants to come forward and make these allegations. It means nothing. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to come out of the woodwork and have all these horrible things to say about my client. We'll see what's actually admissible in court and what stands up in court under cross-examination.
Now, Kaloidis says he's concerned for his client's safety because of threats made online. He has suggested to her that she move out of state. A not guilty plea has been entered for Sullivan on charges including kidnapping, assault, and cruelty to a person. On another front, the State Department of Children and Families now says it has discovered records related to its work with the victim after previously saying it has no records of the case. New details have been released. DCF is believed to have had contact with the family before the victim was pulled from school at the age of 11. 3 family members are dead in Wolcott after a domestic violence incident Thursday evening ended in gunfire. Wolcott Police Chief Ed Stevens explains what happened at the home on Bound Line Road, saying it all began during an argument over the father's eviction from the residence.
The father had a gun pointing at the mother. The son tried to intervene to protect his mother. The father had knocked her down. He tried to grab the gun from the father. The father broke free, shot the mother, who is deceased. Then he turned and shot the son, also deceased. The friend who had a registered gun, he does have a license to carry it, pulled his gun out and shot the father.
The police say 59-year-old David Coate shot 55-year-old Michelle Coate and their son, 34-year-old David Jr. The son's friend, again a licensed gun owner, then shot the father with his registered firearm. Stevens says no charges are being filed at this time, saying it appears to have been an act of self-defense. Another bloodbath on Wall Street to wrap up the week. A drop in the first quarter as stocks plummeted over 700 points. Bank rates Mark Hemrick.
Bit of a double whammy with
This
respect
on for
to
ourselves,
economic
but
data. It
just wanted to
began
see where that got started. This is a let a thousand
today's
flowers bloom kind of
inflation
moment.
and consumer spending news, both coming in essentially worse than expected.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says his country isn't going to take President Trump's tariffs lying down.
Our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, to protect, and to build.
25% tariffs on foreign-made automobiles go into effect April 2nd. Trump says he and Carney did have a productive phone conversation earlier today. Advocates for the homeless gathered today at the state capitol to decry cuts in housing assistance and services for the homeless. Senator Richard Blumenthal says those cuts come at a critical time.
Half of the housing and urban development workforce is being slashed. 1/2 of everybody who works at HUD will be losing their jobs. And equally important, they are closing 2/3 of their offices around the country.
Says HUD programs assist more than 160,000 Connecticut residents. And the UConn women's basketball team plays in its 31st straight Sweet 16 tomorrow in Spokane, Washington. They're undefeated all time against their opponent, Oklahoma. Paige Becker scored 34 points in the Huskies' second-round win. Coach Gino Auriemma is seeking his 12th national championship. He says there's a bit of a distraction, though, these days. The portal, where players seek to transfer to another school, is now open.
The portal has become a big cloud that hangs over everything. Like, for instance, do you think the NBA will ever have open free agency during the NBA playoffs? I doubt that. It's got to be sometime after all this is over.
UConn benefited from the portal last year, adding guard Caitlin Chen from Princeton. Tip-off, Huskies Sooners, scheduled for around 5:30 Eastern tomorrow. The ugliness on Wall Street, the Dow lost 715 points today, the NASDAQ down 481, and the S&P lost 112 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Are you on track for a Johnson Bernetti hosting a
Thank you,
unique
sir.
all-in-one event for those near or at retirement, moderated by me, Brian Shackman. Hear from JB Advisors, a licensed CPA, estate planning attorney, and Medicare specialist. Join us for dinner at the AquaTurf Club in Plantsville on May 1st at 6 p.m. Reservations are required. Visit event@jb.com to RSVP now. That's event@jb.com. Johnson Bernetti is a marketing name for the business of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial LLC.
Has your home's air conditioning lost its cool? Ready for a change? Say, come on into Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling knows how to get the most out of your AC system. Change is good. Filter changes, condenser cleanings, and cleaning the outside of your unit. All systems require yearly service so your home and you can breathe a little bit easier. Before you lose your cool, contact Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling and Barney Barker Oil. Or CampbellCooling.com. That's CampbellCooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Equipment.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Isn't it wild that we actually created that bumper at the hour when I was supposed to do the 2 to 3 show? Remember that? That's what that little teaser was for. That was that whole thing. And now, look at us now. Anyway, I want to mention something on the back of what I was talking about earlier with Mike in Plainville about the violence that people, he and many people are concerned about when it comes to politics. Just recently, I've watched this on X, and I'm sure many of you have as well. Just go to X and you can find it. Juanita Broderick, actually, I'm looking at her post of it today. And if you follow Juanita, you can see it there on X. There have been tons of incidents where people have been caught up protesting, arguing, screaming at people with Tesla vehicles. In fact, I just watched 2 videos just now. One guy driving a Lexus, which is not a cheap car, and the Lexus SUV brandishes a gun on the road against somebody who's driving a Cybertruck. Another guy who's in some sort of Toyota is arguing with another guy in a Tesla, calling him a Nazi. Well, while he's driving off into the intersection, he makes a right turn into a little girl on a bike. That's on Juanita Broderick's page. That's how insane this has gotten. People are putting their own lives in jeopardy for what? For political animus? It's stupid. Let's get back to the weather with Jason Caloritas and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Have you seen any of these, Mark? This is how insane this stuff has gotten?
It's amazing how stupid people are.
And they're putting their... It's funny because it's like karma landing in their laps immediately, but they're putting other people's lives at risk.
Of course.
Of
course. I don't understand yelling at people. That Cybertruck, by the way, that is the best-looking dump... what do they call a dumpster?
Yeah,
It's a dumpster on wheels. It looks like, what is it? Is it like stainless steel? What is it?
It is, but I will tell you this. I'm not going to lie. I looked at that truck up close because there are plenty in my neighborhood.
Right.
There's a dealership right near the town that we go to. So there are a lot of people with them. Now, I will admit, it is a clunky-looking hunk of metal.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. When you're up close to it, even my wife and I just went, I think I want one. It's so weird. It's like wanting to date an ugly girl because she's popular. It's weird. I look, you know what I mean? It's like she's not the most attractive girl in the world, but she's got all the charisma that you'd ever want in a person. Like her personality outshines her looks. And so you kind of say, you know what? In spite of the fact that you're probably not the person that I would find attractive, I really like you. I think I'm going to date you anyway. And a Cybertruck has an appeal.
It looks bulletproof too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it is, but I mean, if you're going to drive one of those, you might need it to be bulletproof.
I'm not going to lie. It really looks space age, and I can't stop looking at it. I can't. I walk by it, and I can't. It's irresistible as a
First
car.
ones I saw when I was out in L.A. last year, and I saw a bunch of them. Like, what?
Yeah.
I said to my wife, what is this? I know it's a Tesla, but it looks like a dumpster on wheels. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, The southbound side of I-91, you're going to see delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And again, a little slow, 23 down to 22. And the Route 9 interchange delays again, 20 to 19 as you move Middletown into Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little slow, Bulkley Bridge to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Same story, 84 eastbound sluggish, a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, okay, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Sluggish, 84 westbound, 26 in Cheshire to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. 84 eastbound in Newtown, you've got slow traffic 9 up to 11. South 95 New Haven tied up from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy with a couple of showers this evening, then some rain and drizzle late, the low down to 44. Then heading through the day on Saturday, breezy and cooler, occasional rain and drizzle, mainly early in the day. Now we're going to have sharply varying temperatures statewide as there's going to be a front draped over us. Chillier weather to the north and east, but warmest to the southwest. The high of 49. Then Sunday, cloudy, rain at night, but dry during the day, the high of 48. Monday, mostly cloudy, breezy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 67 for us on Monday. Right now, it's 57 in Waterbury, 58 in Mansfield, 61 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, Tom Shattuck here. As you know, my friend Phil has been on Awaken 180 weight loss for now 6 weeks. Let's check in with Phil.
Down 6.8 last week. Since I started, I'm down 38 pounds.
That's more than 6 pounds a week.
That peanut butter and jelly cake is the ball.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You gonna try it?
Yo, I'm doing it tomorrow.
O'Reilly Veriscan.
That looks messy as hell.
Yo, but it looks. Oh, I didn't even think it was going to be that hot. It's like I looked at it, I went.
O'Reilly Veriscan.
I think I finally figured out the Food Network.
We all know that. The changes as
Yeah, I'll definitely eat it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced.
I will put
testosterone.
grape strawberry jelly in the holes.
Yeah. Health.
And then grape jelly on top.
If you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Will new tariffs impact small business?
1 minute.
Costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more. And as little as 24 hours with
banana
no collateral
slices.
needed. If your business earns at least
It's got
$50,000
enough
per
sugar,
month and has
Polly.
been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like them better than my old 5
Enton.
hearing aids.
I
could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
What's going on? It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. We got plenty of people on the phones. Let's get to them now. Dave in Brantford, how are you, sir?
Well, how are you? I'd like to give a shout out to Mike, Plainfield Mike. He'd be a terrific guy to be on the baseball field with youth, learning the game. His attitude, his can-do spirit. What a good coach he'd be, head coach.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, that would be nice. And I know he's got the skill. I want to, what you were talking about, all the good quality governors around the country that are Republicans, and I want to name some. Nikki Haley,
Yep.
Bobby Jindal from the past.
Loved
Kristi
him.
Noem, who, the Virginia governor, who no one thought would get in, Youngkin.
I helped
his
him.
Very able black Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears,
Yes.
who was of Jamaican parentage. None of those people would get elected in Connecticut, which proves it is not the quality of the candidate that the Republicans put up around here. It is the inhospitable soil. We certainly won't vote for good quality candidates.
But Dave, wait. Hold on. Listen. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show where I was showing the graphs, right, of all of the state, how after Jody Rell's
I didn't see it. I heard it.
Yeah, well, Jody Rell's election, we're talking about a red state. Okay, Jody Rell, lieutenant governor, like we're talking somebody who kept the place red. Malloy comes in and he taxes the hell out of the state. And after that, the state becomes more blue?
I have some comments on that.
Please.
The Republicans, as call your show, they would not allow a Jody Rell type candidate to get the nomination. That would be Aaron Stewart, that motherly, charming, grandmotherly vibe that people kind of like.
Yes.
The hardball Republicans wouldn't cotton to a softball Republican like that, and yet Jody Rell slaughtered the opposition.
She did.
And by the way, when Malloy came in, Malloy he was an executive, from Stanford,
Mm-hmm.
and he sounded like a real tight-fisted money guy.
He did.
One of his main points was that the 3-year, when state workers go for their pension,
Yeah.
they get that stacking effect where they get all the overtime and double their pay. Malloy was against that. He thought that's outrageous.
Right.
And then he campaigned that way. And then once he got in, the state workers union, you see back, they got to him. And he dropped it, that we're going to get rid of that outrageous stacking your pension by only going by the last 3 years of,
Oh, but he went
boosting it and all the
overwhelmingly, Dave. He went overwhelmingly tax and spend Malloy. I mean, he was obnoxious in the way in which he governed.
A little bit on the election rules. Unfortunately, people like the Secretary of State, Denise Merrill, Todd Feinberg used to talk about this all the time. It's not election fraud. It's provably illegal. It's election rigging.
Yes.
Where these gray areas, the Democrats crowd the zone and do things they shouldn't.
Right.
And I'm thinking of you go to those UConn students who all got on a bus and maybe went to an incorrect voting district because they fogged what their actual address was. Easy to do. You just go to the post office, do a change of address for a month, and you can put some weight on an election district in Ashford, and maybe elect a clownish progressive Democrat because they say, should that be legal? In the city of New Haven, they have buses, where you get a 90% yield of only Democrats from certain neighborhoods or districts or apartment houses. You can have an election sign-up, and what you have is in the field across the street, you'll get free diapers for the children and for grandma, free hygiene products for all the women in your family.
Right.
And say that sounds like a bribe. Is that legal? And everyone says, oh, of course it's legal. And how about if I give them a free pizza
I
or
believe-
a coupon at the local...
But Dave,
And
I
that's how
will
they do
I
it.
will definitely look. I look. There are plenty of mitigating factors into why it turned so blue and in such a short time. Zach in the chat room says that Jody wasn't a Republican; she was a rhino. Okay, I'm willing to accept that. But comparatively, Jody Rell versus Malloy, Jody Rell versus Ned Lamont, what would you say? I mean, in comparison, I wouldn't have considered her a rhino compared to Malloy or the post Malloy.
I'm a Reagan type. If they're on my side, I'm on their side.
Right.
And I don't really like it. I would prefer others than Themis Claridis, but she got elected. And Len Fasano and even Vinny Candelara, people think he's too weak. He's not tough enough. He's not red enough.
That's
you know
right.
What? Republicans that get elected, they're good enough for me, and they make the other Republicans, the tougher ones, even stronger, because everyone needs those soldiers behind them, to magnify your moving up the ladder.
Indeed.
To get elected to the committees.
Yeah.
And the softball rhinos, we need more of that.
Yeah.
If that's all that we can elect, I'm all for it.
Yeah, indeed.
That's my
Thank you,
point.
sir.
Thanks for letting me on.
You got it, sir. And again, that's another great point about that, Zach. And I get what you're saying. Look, the bottom line is that we had Jody Rell after the Rowland scandal. She should have never been able to run because she was his lieutenant governor. She should have never been able to win. She governed on her own laurels. Okay? I'll never forget that election. Many people believe it's like, can she shake Rowland? And she did. So you have to ask yourself a question. And she had an incredible approval rating as a governor. So all of that aside, I'm just saying in comparison, I get where you're coming from, and I'm not dismissing that, but there's a lot more. Very good point about go along to get along. Yes. Let's go to Steve in Waterbury. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Reese. I do want to comment on Reagan at the very end.
Yes.
So I actually have a prediction, some questions, and a theory.
Okay.
My first prediction is I think Elon Musk is going to get away from electrical vehicles because basically that was for the left anyways.
Right. Doesn't need to anymore.
I think he's going to do something different. It's going to be a great vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, how old did you say you were?
55.
Well, may I say you look marvelous.
What's that? I'm sorry?
You look marvelous. Remember Billy?
Thank you. I look marvelous. Thank you.
Yes. That's known as Peter Butter and Jelly, the host.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Now, you mentioned about the media, about politicians getting the attention from the media. Do you think Trump knows how to do that?
No.
You don't think he does?
Who did you say? I'm sorry?
Do you think Trump knows how to get
Trump knows. Okay, I thought you were talking about, I'm sorry, I thought you mentioned somebody here locally. I don't think any Republican here knows how to get the attention of the media. Trump, absolutely. Okay. The man could, he could hiccup and it would be a headline.
Yeah, what about Ronald Reagan?
Without a doubt.
Okay, do you remember Ronald Reagan's hot mic incident?
Which one was this one?
He was a very seasoned entertainer. He went on a hot mic, supposedly the mic was supposed to be off. He said, in 5 minutes, we're going to be bombing Russia.
Yes, that's that's right. And he knew the mic was on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at the first Iraq war and how that was in the media all the time and how Trump actually had said that they were going to go after Hamas prior to this, I honestly don't think that was a leak. I think that was a political thing. And it might be to misdirect the media from other things that are going on, like the tariffs and all the other things that they're going against. But now they got a different narrative.
So you're like, so your conspiracy here on this one, and I'm using that term loosely, I promise. You're saying get them dogged on this, make that their focus while he does something else.
Right, and it's certainly not a new thing that politicians have done.
Good point.
That's I'm just kind of wondering if that, was kind of planned and not the mistake that they're letting it.
You mentioned Reagan, Steve. Let me go back to another one Reagan did. Do you remember George Shultz? Was George Shultz his chief of staff?
Yes.
Yes, George Shultz. Do you remember I read this in Rendezvous with Destiny, but I remember it very well. He told George Shultz about firing everybody at the FAA. Remember, air traffic controllers during the strike? He said, I'm going to fire them all and get rid of them, and we'll start from scratch. Schultz says to him, are you kidding? You can't do that. Everyone's going to call you crazy. And Ronald Reagan's response to that was, that's exactly what I want them to think.
There you go. And meanwhile, he put in the people from the military to do, and they're very well.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. I'm sorry.
I want to mention Reagan. You got a second?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay. When they allow illegal immigrants in, they do get counted as a census. And by having more people, they get more electoral votes. So I sent you something on this recently. That's part of one of the plans that the Democrats does.
Indeed. And look, they are far more savvy at cheating and I think that, Reagan was a great point that Dave made. It's like it's not election cheating. It's not election cheating. It's rigging. And rigging, again, is a different, asking somebody to shave off or place a couple of votes here and there is all you need. You need a strategic point. Look, I'll tell you something. If I may, I want to go back to something unrelated, but to a huge point that I think has a little bit like a loose relation. Did you watch the interview with Brett Baer and Elon Musk yesterday on Fox News? Did you watch that at all?
I do not watch the news. I haven't in years.
Okay. You can, if you're online at all, I want you to watch that interview. Only for one piece. Elon and one of the Doge guys said something that floored me yesterday in that interview. I didn't think I'd get anything from it, but one of the guys who are the Doge people was talking about Social Security. I think he's the Indian CEO that was there, Indian young man that was there. And he said something that floored me. When I say me and my wife looked at each other and went, what the? Like, we cursed. That's how much we were affected. He said 40% of the calls to Social Security are fraudulent calls to change the banking information for benefits.
Really?
40% of their phone calls. Now, if you think about it, who are the most vulnerable people? And what we found out in the Wanda Pataki scandal in Bridgeport, what did we find out? The people that were being affected by this were all, if not elderly.
Right.
That's where, and it's always, and what do we also know? We know that the baby boomer generation, which is still here, they've not all died off yet. They're still here. And those are the most vulnerable people that you can affect in an election because they're still one of the largest populations.
Right. You know, we were talking about rigging, and I forgot what the other term that you were using.
Which one?
Again, I'm not exactly sure, but instead of like rigging. But if we're allowing illegal aliens to come in here in order to get, census as being one of the things, that's still, breaking the law. And to me, that's more than just rigging.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good point. I totally agree. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, sir. We'll get to the rest of you. I promise, guys. Hold on. I know it's a long wait, but that's how the phones go with the subject matter and everything. So it takes a little bit. Hey, you did it for Rush. You could do it for me. Just hold on for a little bit. I promise I'll get to you. So stick around. Also, you've got an opportunity to be the last but not least caller of the day. I also talk about yesterday's show for those of you who may have missed it. I played a great audio yesterday. Many of you may have missed it. I'm going to play it again today. Hopefully, you'll get to listen to it. It also is about election integrity. You might like this video. We'll play that as well for you because the show was on Odyssey, and a lot of you didn't get to hear it on the regular radio because of the Boston Red Sox game, opening day for many people across the country. But we'll get to that video. I'll play it for you as well. All right, we got more news, more views when we return. Let's get some weather from Jason Catarinas. But first, Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
All right, thank you very much, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A&B, a little slow by 23 West Street and Rocky Hill. We have an accident 91 southbound. It was in the left lane right at 19 Preston Avenue. That get it off over to the right shoulder now. So delays from 21 down to the accident scene. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulky Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got delays from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulky Bridge. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 westbound, some slow traffic from exit 4 up to the 84 west merge. 9 north and southbound, a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound, you've got sluggish and stop-and-go traffic just after 16 in Southbury up to exit 18 in Waterbury. Westbound side of 84 slowing Cheshire into Waterbury from 26 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic in Newtown 9 to 11. If you're traveling south 95 New Haven, some slow traffic 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Friday turning cloudy and not as cool, the high of 58. Tonight, cloudy, remaining mild with a couple of showers, then a steadier rain developing, the low down to 47. Saturday, breezy, milder, even with occasional rain and drizzle, though it'll be mainly early in the day, the high 63. Couple of showers Saturday night, the low 41. Cloudy and cooler on Sunday to round out the weekend with the high only 48. It'll feel a little chilly at times. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Kimberly Sullivan, the woman accused of holding her stepson captive in their home for over 20 years from childhood to adulthood, was in court today. She remains free on bond, ordered to wear a GPS device, but not placed under house arrest. She's charged with cruelty to persons, due back in court again next month. Meantime, the State Department of Children and Families says it has found records pertaining to the family. Commissioner Jody Hill-Lilly, in a statement, says they are reviewing recently unearthed closed records. When the story initially broke, DCF said it didn't have records of previous visits and that they would have been expunged after 5 years if they were not, nothing came of the investigation. 3 people dead in Wolcott, triple shooting there Thursday evening. Police say David Coate shot his estranged wife and son before he himself was shot by the son's friend with his legal firearm. The early indications are the elder Coate opened fire during some type of dispute as he was moving out of a home on Bound Line Road Thursday evening. State Police charging a man after they say he was traveling the wrong way on Route 8 while under the influence early this morning. After midnight, 44-year-old Matthew Thompson, troopers say, headed south in the northbound lanes of Route 8 near exit 39. They'd received several 911 calls about the black Honda CRV that Thompson was allegedly operating. He's now free on bond. Powerful earthquake has rocked Myanmar and neighboring Thailand, killing at least 150 people, mostly in Myanmar, where a bridge and a dam collapsed. In Thailand, Bangkok city authorities say 10 people were killed, 16 injured, and 101 missing from 3 construction sites, including a high-rise that crumbled while under construction. Checking Wall Street, the Dow finished down 715 points today. The Nasdaq lost 481, and the S&P closed out the dismal day down 112 points. Men's college hockey, it's UConn and Quinnipiac, first-round NCAA action tomorrow at 5:30 our time. UConn women take on Oklahoma in the Spokane Regional at the Sweet 16. Baseball tonight on TIC, Red Sox in Texas. The season opening series against the Rangers. 7:05 is the pregame. Mets are in Houston. Yanks have the night off. And in the NBA, the Knicks travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hard work and dreams lead to success. But easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantee.
Seems everything these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business?
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're going to hear about it.
Let me air my grievance here. This one comes from, of course, my good friend, best friend, Chris Murphy. He said this. Now, by the way, if you don't know this, Chris Murphy is going to Michigan. Why? I have no idea. But apparently, the Michigan senator is not holding a town hall. So Chris Murphy, instead of tending to business here in Connecticut, he's going to go all the way to Michigan to go hold one with Max Frost, the Congressman Matt Frost. You might remember him as the guy who couldn't get an apartment in Washington because of a low credit score. Yeah, that guy. That's who he's aligning himself with. And then Chris Murphy got on the House floor to give this speech, of all speeches, about a resolution denouncing the violence against Elon Musk. Well, Tesla. Here's what Chris Murphy had to say.
Now, this resolution claims to say something about domestic terrorism, but the only terrorism, the only violence it mentions is violence carried out against, you guessed it, Elon Musk.
Oh, heaven to Betsy's clutch your pearls. Oh, with all of the cars that you see on fire, the death threats, and the shootings, the people who are driving down the street getting guns pulled on them. How dare they say that there's a resolution to denounce the violence against Elon Musk?
On an annual basis, there are 11,000 reported incidents of domestic terrorism.
Write a resolution for that. You got all the paper and all the time. How about you take a break from your internet nonsense, trying to go viral, and write your own resolution there, dum-dum?
11,000. Only a handful of them impact Tesla dealerships, but they're the only acts of violence mentioned in this resolution.
Because they're happening, and they're against average citizens. Don't you care about the average citizens, Chris? That's what you keep telling us. The people who they're not firebombing Elon Musk. They're firebombing his cars at dealerships who are owned by average citizens, businessmen. Do you not care about them, doodoo?
52% of the reported attacks were based on racial or ethnic targeting by radicalized attackers, but they aren't mentioned in this resolution. Only Elon Musk is mentioned in this resolution because a different set of rules apply to him.
Like no violence against the guy. Like no violence against his business that did nothing wrong. How dare he get special treatment? I mean, they're only shooting the places up and setting buildings on fire. How dare they?
Because he is in charge and he deserves protection that no one else gets.
No one else? God, I hate this guy sometimes. Just the dumbest person. Just because you got a young girlfriend doesn't mean you should listen to her. You're taking the ideology of a child. Moronic. Let's get another check of the weather with Jason Catarinas, Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Southbound 91 delays Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B. After that, you're going to see some slow traffic from exit 21 in Cromwell down to exit 19 Preston Avenue in Meriden. An accident on the right shoulder there. Northbound 91 good ride Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound is tied up from 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384 okay east of the river. 5 and 15 southbound. Looks out for an accident at the beginning of the Berlin Turnpike in Wethersfield. You got delays behind that. If you're traveling 2 eastbound, you're in good shape. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 291 384 okay east of the river. Quiet Middletown. 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire, you're slowing 26 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic from 16 up to 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Newtown, slowing 9 to 11. If you are traveling 95 south in New Haven, you're slowing 46 down to 44 on the southbound side of I-95. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy with a couple of showers this evening, followed by some rain and drizzle late. The low down to 44. Breezy, cooler with occasional rain and drizzle, but mainly early Saturday. Sharply varying temperatures statewide with a front draped right over the region. Chilly weather north and east, warm or warmer to the southwest, the high of 49. Sunday, cloudy, the high of 48. Some rain at night, then mostly cloudy and milder Monday. A breezy afternoon with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high up to 67. Right now, it's 57 in Mansfield, 60 in Bristol, and 61 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messaging.
Hold on a minute.
Purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of
Nugenix.
Our most powerful fat incinerator ever to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
What's up, everybody?
You know who it is.
Is violence carried out?
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I made a mistake and I forgot to take that darn video off. It's my fault. Don't forget, last but not least, caller of the day gets a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And August 2nd.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
That's right. If you order a peanut butter and jelly from Between Rounds or any of its 5 locations, they will donate $1. Almost put them in a bad position. They'll donate $1 from every peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They will donate it to our good friends at Friendly Hands Food Bank. So please help out. We appreciate it. And if this really is a success, maybe we could do it every year.
Yeah, I'm going to get mine on a plain bagel.
Plain bagel. Okay. He will not be too fancy.
Toasted with butter.
Toasted with butter. Okay. And you're going to be at which one? The Manchester one?
Yeah, I'll be at the Manchester one about 10:30.
Okay, 10:30. All right. So if you're interested, go there and say hello to Roland. Don't mob him. I understand he's quite popular. They're crazy about you out there, man. I don't want you to get mobbed like the Beatles. All right, so be careful out there. And show your love. Buy a peanut butter jelly sandwich with Roland when he's there in the Manchester Between Rounds. And get yours too. And, take a photograph of it. We're going to be giving out the telephone number for you to send a text with a picture of it, and we'll post them, of course, throughout the show. Now, let's get to the phones. He's waited long enough. Gary in Southington, who is demanding his time on the show. Gary, thank you for holding. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, that was such a long wait. I had
Sorry,
another
buddy.
birthday.
Well, happy birthday, sir. What's going on, Gary?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I wanted to say I forgot, but I want to say this. So I agree with a caller about 15 callers ago.
Okay.
And he said, doesn't matter who would run in this state. They're still going to lose. And like you said, Winsome, what's her name? Winsome.
Winsome Sears in Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, so we know the left, they idolize blacks, right, or minorities.
Right.
That's one of their idols, except they would be spitting at her. I got
Yeah.
news for you. All the black churches would be railing against her. I'm just using her for an example. And I disagree somewhat. You said that the Republicans were not unified. Well, that's probably true. But even if they were, there is no news outlet that will give them a voice.
Then you have to
None.
create
You
it.
think they're-
I think we have to create it. That's, again, like I said.
But how are you going to get that out there? How are you going to get that voice out there? What do you mean create it? And who's you know what I mean? How are you going to?
I think there's a
Besides
concerted
AM radio.
No, don't get me wrong.
Besides
I think
AM
there's
radio.
you're right. Outside of radio, I think you're 100% right. How you asked the question, how do you create it? Is it that easy? Not necessarily. You're right. It is hard. Unfortunately, for a place like Connecticut at the state that it's in now, somebody mentioned earlier, you remember on the phone call that says, Lori said, after we win an election, everybody sort of goes into their collective corners and chills out, especially Republicans. They sort of rest easy. They don't understand in a state like Connecticut, even when we're gaining ground, it never ends after Election Day. We have got to treat every post-election day, the day after Election Day, we have got to treat that like the next election's tomorrow. That's a problem in
agree.
Connecticut that isn't happening because people are, you have so many people who have election fatigue. But unfortunately, you can't. Not if you're really trying to change the demographics of the state. And I think the Republicans. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. The problem is you're not going to win the cities. You're not going to win New Haven, Bridgeport, and Hartford. And this is a big problem. Because you know why? They're getting handouts, and they know that. But look, somebody else called up, and he made a great point. And there's massive corruption going on in this state with stuff in the ballot boxes. So how do I know that? Guess who said it? Ned Lamont.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Okay, so let me.
He said it in a newscast. He said because somebody brought it up to him, and he actually said this too. It's too bad that the authorities had to find out. He actually said that.
Yeah.
And then he said this has been going on in Bridgeport and Trumbull and other areas of the state for a long time.
Right.
What? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and
Why
he
are you
laughed
being
off. Yeah,
investigated?
he laughed off
Yeah, this
the
is a
first time
problem.
it was mentioned. He laughed about it the first time it was brought to his attention about Wanda Pataki, and then he made this quip about Donald Trump being upset about any election that he's lost, instead of dealing with the fact that he is running a state that's got a corrupt mayor in Bridgeport. Again, dismissing it and making it about Trump. And I chastise him for that. But you're 100% right on so many levels, Gary. But let me just say this. Look, go ahead.
Okay, before you hang up on me, I want to say one more thing.
Okay, I'll let you do that. There is one
No,
very.
go ahead. Finish your
I
point,
am.
and I'll-
There is one distinct thing that we have to do is one, we know where the problems are. And I think that in a lot of ways we have to treat politics in Connecticut the way that an oncologist would cancer. If indeed we know what's happening here is a cancer on the state, we've got to treat it as such. And you said there are so many things that we need to address. We need to address the handouts in the big cities. How do we do that? We need to find a strategic way to do that. We can't just dismiss it and say, well, we're never ever going to beat that. No, we need to create those opportunities for those people to get out of the handout business and get those people to the other side. Explain to them how shackled they are to the Democrat Party if they rely on them, and explain to them how in which they're being used. And that's got to be done every day, and it's got to be done at the grassroots and at the front line level. But I'll let you get the last statement.
Okay. Yeah. So you know how not only are the liberals calling Trump and his supporters Nazis, so they're also calling them fascists. Do you know where the word fascist comes from?
Not in particular off the hand, but go on.
This is great. It comes from Italy. It means unions.
Yeah. Okay.
It means unions. Just think about that. They love the unions, right? The left loves the unions because most of them are kind of commie running. I'm not necessarily against unions, but I think it's pretty funny.
I'm against public worker unions, and I know people hate when I say it, but I'm against them.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of them, they strong-arm people to vote for Democrats.
I think that a public worker union that cannot work, well, we need to have provisions in a public worker union in this regard. The union cannot use its might to prevent people from getting the services that they need and they pay taxes for. And what I mean by that is ambulance workers or people in that field can't say that they're not going to run ambulances in case of emergencies because they're on strike. They just can't do it. That cannot be a bargaining chip. That's my point on that level. But thank you, Gary, and I appreciate you holding. I hope I gave you enough time to get your point across.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Let's go to Joshua in Woodbury. How are you, Joshua?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to bring up the point, just add on to what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
If anyone remembers January 6th when that whole thing went down, Trump came out, I don't know how long it took him, a couple hours, an hour, whatever, to come out and with a statement saying that, we needed to be peaceful.
Yes.
And here you have Chris Murphy can't say, this is bad. He can't let those words come out of his mouth. And Trump says all the right things. Imagine if Trump came out and said, you know what, guys? Yeah, you shouldn't have done it, but it's okay. Whatever. Here's this, that. He would have been, impeached. He already was, but
Oh,
it would
yeah.
have been the end of him if he ever did that.
They
And
want
we
to
can
impeach
just
him
sit
now.
here-
If they get the votes, they want to impeach him for pardoning January 6th rioters. That would be a reason they would. So.
And to all those people out there that don't like Elon Musk, I've been in plenty of forums for, Elon hate.
Yeah.
And some people are commenting like, oh, give me a reason of why you don't like Elon. And these people have no reason. They're just.
No.
I've never seen these Democrats so duped in my life over something. Like, they can't tell you why Elon is bad other than big news told me that he's bad. So he's a bad man. It's like this man has cars built in the USA. No other car manufacturer is 100% built in the USA other than Elon. And you're going to go and you're going to start destroying his company. And these are families that have, so many people work at these jobs.
Yeah.
And they're U.S. families. And you're going to be patriotic and do
Isn't
that.
that the interesting?
How ridiculous is
Isn't that the interesting irony in this, Joshua? Because here are the people who are outside city halls across the country, inside town halls, screaming and hollering about Elon Musk affecting the lives of everyday federal workers, while at the same time, people are firebombing and attacking Tesla dealerships and workers who, in essence, trying to drive the stock price down. That's going to affect workers and families. So they're telling them that private industry workers, they don't care a hill of beans about them, and the people they wish to protect is the bureaucracy. And I don't know if that, for me, I don't know about you, but I look at that logically and I say, how in the hell is that a winning argument in the electorate, in any election?
People are just sucking it up. It sounds good, and it's big, orange man bad, and it's easy to go with that.
Exactly. Thank you, Joshua. I appreciate you holding, sir. Thank you. Let's go to Dave in Ellington real quick, sir.
Hey, let's go. Why is everybody so worried about everything?
You ask that every time. Every day you ask the same question. Every day. I give him the light. He still asks the same question. Give me a call. You got 2 minutes. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. So you can be the last but not least caller of the day, and we will get you a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds. I want to say this because the last caller brought up a very, very good point. This argument about federal workers, and I think there was a poll out that said that 51 to 48 or 47% were against the firing of federal workers. And a lot of people were questioning, well, wait a minute, if what Elon is doing is good, why would those numbers be like that? And I'll tell you. And I think somebody should do this. And maybe I may make it a question of the day next week and see if we can get an unscientific poll. But if you're in the news media and you listen to this show, if you do a newspaper or anything like that, this is an interesting question to ask. With that poll in mind, maybe you can frame it in certain ways to make it a scientific poll, but hear me out. Ask the people on this poll, how much should the government be a part of your everyday life? Or how much do you think the government is a part of your everyday life? You see, I think the reason why people 51 to 49 or 47% look at it as, they are against the cut of government, the framing of that question, I believe that we are living in a society that overwhelmingly believes that the government either enriches or takes away, like they have a stronghold of significant space in our lives. I really do believe that. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's why I think that number's skewed. They want to get rid of the waste. It's like what I say about African Americans, right? During COVID, I asked every African American I could ever talk to, do you trust government? They went, no. Do you really trust government? No, I've never, ever trusted government. Why are you trusting them with COVID? And they couldn't answer. They would completely, it would be like a glitch. Didn't know how to answer it. It's like, why do you trust them here? And it's fear.
This guy already won. So,
all right, you already got him? Oh, no, he already won? Oh, okay, well, I can't have him. Okay, if we don't have a winner today, we just don't have a winner today. You do have a minute. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We've got to wrap it up. So if you actually just show up on the screen right now, Roland will just grab you, and then we'll put you in so you can win it, and then we'll announce it maybe tomorrow. But yeah, again, I say again, I believe that people out of fear, think that government is so entrenched in their lives that cutting any of it off may prevent them from being either getting something, some sort of government assistance, having government there when they need them, that if you chop it up into pieces or get rid of parts of it, that they will not be able to rely on the government. Oh, we got plenty of calls, Zach. I promise. They're there. Roland's going to grab one of them now.
Oh, he just left. I got it.
Oh, you got okay,
Joshua and Woodbury.
Okay. Well, grab any one of the other ones. But I do believe that. I believe that people do not believe, and I don't care what walk of life you are. I really do believe that government, to a lot of people, is always there to kind of save them should the crap hit the fan. And any cuts to that would scare the hell out of them. And that's why I think that there's an apprehension. So somebody should do that. Somebody should do a poll to actually break that down, because that'd be a great survey to find out exactly how people feel about government. Anyway, we'll get to that another time. Oh, well, the weekend's here. You guys have a great one. Hey, Reese on the Radio on the weekend airs at 6 p.m. On Sunday. So, baseball's coming back. So as I always say, radio is free. So we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good weekend. Pleasant tomorrow. Pleasant Sunday. And we'll see you back here on Monday. Jason Catarinas has got your weather for the weekend. And Mark Christopher is at the BPS Traffic Center getting you home for the weekend. Good night, Mark. Have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Have a great weekend. If you're heading into Hartford right now.
All right, good sir.
All right.
It's a little slow west.
Any one of those?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I got it. I got it.
You got him? Okay, that's good enough.
All
right, I'll see you mañana.
From Farmington out.
No, have a good weekend.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't try to mess up my weekend, bro.
91's running
Go
a little
bye.
Enjoy yourself, man.
Yeah, man, you
in
too.
Middletown down to exit 17.
All right, folks. Oh, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. I try very hard to. I work on it pretty hard. It takes me about. Can you believe it, Zach? I'll tell you a little inside baseball. It takes me at least 3 hours to do that show. There's so much work I go into to get to do that show. It should just me be just rambling, and I don't. I go through so much stuff. Like, oh, do I want to talk about this? And then I'll do a recording and I'll listen to it. And I'm just like, subject sucks. I'll move on. It takes me 3 hours a day. All right. I love you guys. Please have a wonderful weekend. I will see you then. And we'll be back. Holler.